Everybody gets knocked down. No matter how tough you think you are, you're going to fall. And when you fall, sometimes you fall real hard. But that ground is a hard surface. And I'm going to tell you something. It ain't going to move because you're laying on it. So you need to rise up and you need to rise above it and you need to start moving.
When you get knocked down, how long are you going to stay down? When you lose your job, when you lose that loved one, regardless if it's your husband, your wife, your child, whatever it is, do you have the ability to go through the hurt and the pain of that loss? Regardless of what you're going through, the best time you know that you are strong is when you're at the weakest point of your life. When you are so far down that hole, you looking up and you don't see no light, but yet you know there's an end to this darkness. That's when you'll find out just how strong you really are. This is a process, and you have to hurt just a little bit so you can understand what it means to be strong. So don't give up on your hopes. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. Just keep moving forward. If you think that you're going through something so bad right now, wait until tomorrow if tomorrow comes for you. Look at the person next to you. Look at people all over the world if you ever come in contact with certain individuals. And ask yourself, are they going through a lot more than what I'm going through? Because honestly, there are always going to be people that are going through a lot more than you're going through right now.
When you're down, find a way to get up. I've been there. I go through it like anybody else. But I have a job to do in this world, and so do you.
April 6, 2020, I lost my dad. I lost my mom 9 years ago, and I just lost my father. Many people lose things that matter to them, things that mean something to them. Recently, I spoke very highly about my father while he was in this world, but now my father is gone. And what hurt me the most is that I didn't have the chance to say goodbye. I didn't have the chance to travel to bury my father because of the crisis that we are facing in our society, in this world right now. But yet I'm here. Yet I'm still alive. And yet I still got work to do in this world. Does it hurt? Am I grieving? Do I feel a little bit of despair? Absolutely. Absolutely, I feel that pain. Absolutely, I understand what it means to hurt. Absolutely, I feel like there's nothing else left in me. Because when I lost my father, a piece of me went with him.
Make no mistake about it. You need you need to be armed with virtue in order for that not to turn into hell. Really, you really need that. And it isn't just your hell, that's bad enough. That can be really bad, especially when you're contributing to it. Right? Because then not only are you suffering, but you know you're the agent that's producing the suffering. And then maybe that's not just for you. It's like you're taking out your family. If you're really good at it, you're taking out large swaths of your community. That's hell. It's like, and that's real. And no one with any sense and any experience has any doubt that that's real. And then they all could easily think of how, even though it's already bad, you could make it way worse. Everyone knows that. So what's the bulwark against that? Nobility of purpose. That's it. You have that, then you can, then you have something to set against the suffering and the malevolence. And you need, it isn't optional. That's not optional. You cannot live without it. Not without
meaning is
degenerate.
not optional, right?
Well, that's why it's such a deep instinct.
Right.
It's an instinct, meaning. It's the instinct of life. My life is meaningless. It's the spirit has gone out of you. It's like, well, and you know, modern people, it's part of this process of criticism. We criticize the idea of meaning so much that we don't really believe in it anymore. It's like, well, that's fine. You can not believe it, but try living without it and see how far you get with that. You need a reason to get out of bed on a terrible day. Okay, what's that reason going to be? Well, let's think it through. You know people who can get out of bed on a terrible day. Do you admire them? Yes. What are those people like? Are they taking responsibility for themselves? Definitely. Do they have excess capacity, so they're taking responsibility for other people? Yeah. Are they doing difficult things? Yes, obviously. The more you respect them, the more you also see that they're doing difficult things and doing them well. So what does that mean? Do some difficult things. Do them well. So pick up your goddamn burden and walk up the hill. So, yep, I get it. And people do get it. And it's not surprising because that's the alternative to hell. Accept the burdensome condition of suffering voluntarily, and you transcend it. You've got a problem with the world? Hey man, no wonder you have a problem with the world. Like, the world is a pretty rough place and it could use some work. It's like, have you done all your work? If the answer to that is no, then I would say,
well, I think it's really important. First of all, it's great to be with you all here. I know you've had a full day, and I hope to add some real value to you in this brief time. I think it's really critical that you understand that everybody wants to grow their business, and we all go through different phases, right? Just like human beings go through phases. You know, you give birth to your business, and you're an infant, and an infant is a run for survival, and cash flow problems are a natural process in most cases, and you're running. Hopefully you get to a teenager where now cash flow is not a problem, you're growing like crazy, and then you have a new problem. You don't have systems in place. And maybe you get to young adult where you have to decide what you're not going to do. Eventually, hopefully get to prime where you're growing your business revenues and you're growing your profits and you got a professional organization, you're not doing it. Because as long as you're doing it, really you don't have a business. What you have is you're self-employed. There's nothing wrong with being self-employed. But whenever you meet someone who's in business is stressed, they're always a business operator. And my focus is to become a business owner. How do you do that? You realize that the chokehold on the growth of your business is always the leader. And it's your skills and it's your psychology. And I found it's 80% psychology and 20% skills. You gotta have the marketing skills. You gotta be able to lead. You gotta be able to recruit. You gotta do all those things. But really, most importantly, you gotta get it through what I call the threshold of control. And this, to me, is the secret to really succeeding in business. And it's pretty simplistic. How many of you snowboard or ski? Anybody out there snowboard or ski? Give you a sense? So most people are terminally intermediate when they get into that sport, right? You know, they really never get that good. They're not really a belonger. They're kind of in the middle, and they never get much better. And I think the reason is they never push themselves beyond what they can handle, right? You're used to greens or blues, and you find yourself on a double black, and what happens? Everything inside you freaks out because you're past what I call the threshold of control, your comfort zone. And you look down, you go, I could die doing this. So now you have two choices. Either most people slam themselves on the ground, hang on for dear life, and try not to skid off the cliff. And at best, what you do is survive. Or a few people let go of their fear, no matter how scary it is, and goes, I got to go down this thing, and there's no other choice, and they focus on where they want to go instead of what they're afraid of. And they find a way to carve. And once you carve a few of them, that double black is your bitch, right? You don't have to worry about that anymore, right? And so that's what happens in business. So for me, I can remember going and starting my first business in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I got on a radio show. And this person, it was a shock radio show, and I didn't know it. And they started attacking me and saying I'm a liar and a charlatan. You can't do these things. And this therapist called me up and said, you know what? I've dealt with people forever. You can't wipe out a phobia in less than an hour. It can take 7 years. I have a patient right now I've worked with for 7 years, and I've been able to solve this. And I said, great. Bring that patient tonight. I'm doing a free guest event at the Holiday Inn, and I'll take care of that. It should take me 10 or 15 minutes. Right? and
you
so
do it?
I did it, and I was able to do it. I wrapped a snake around this woman. She had a snake phobia. A phobia is an uncontrollable response. So because of that, I had people coming to these guest events like crazy, and I thought I hit the home run, right? And I did this big guest event. There was like 1,000 people there, which for me would be like, I don't know, 100,000 people in an event right now. And after I was done, a bunch of people signed up for my seminar because I did a free value-add event, and then I would invite them to come spend 3 days with me. And this man walks up to me, and he's from immigration. He goes, a great seminar. He goes, I'd like to see your work permit. I said, what's a work permit? Right? You know, when you're in beginning business, you don't know these things, right? He goes, well, to work in this country, you need a work permit. And he said, I'll tell you what, I got to see you tomorrow at 5:30. I goes, well, my seminar starts at 7. He goes, you'll be fine. Just, you got to be there at 5:30. He said, I'm not asking. It's a requirement.